So this list right here is for the top 5 musicians that embodied Halloween. Were folks that you can always reference towards Halloween or edge towards Halloween easily. Now, a couple of these bands are subjective. A lot of people aren't probably going to care about most of them or a few of them. But either way, this is just my list, my opinion, so therefore I'm sticking to it. So number 1. This is no particular order, by the way. And there will be honorable mentions, because there's a couple I was really torn between. But, at the end of the day, it really bottled down to 5. I had to pick 5, because that's just how I felt. So, okay, number 1 is Guar. Now, Guar is mostly known in the 80s, a little bit in the current times as well. I believe they're still playing. They're not one of my favorite bands of all time. I think they're fun. They're hilarious. Otherwise, it's just the stage presence they have, or at least the lead singer had for a while, was just really freaking funny. Their costumes are over the top. They're very comic book based. They're very graphic. Like, they're violent. At least with the stage props and everything, they're really violent, which is really fun to watch. I mean, you don't have to like their music, but as far as quality goes with their costume, it's just really over the top shit that just sells it. I think the gimmick with them just sells it absolutely. The music's okay in some of them. Like, I'm Sick of You, I like that song a lot. That one's pretty cool. But other than that, moving on. Number 2 is Rob Zombie. At least with his Hillbilly Deluxe days, he embodied Halloween with that gimmick. I mean, obviously he mellowed out a little bit. He stopped doing that. He's doing more modern music that isn't quite that great as he used to do, like around his times of Thunder Kiss 66 and all that shit, or 65. My brain fart just exploded just now. But yeah, basically when he did Hillbilly Deluxe and all that shit, it was fantastic. He basically had this. He does Halloween films, or he does horror films, which are really good. And it's just, he embodies Halloween primarily because of his films. I mean, Hillbilly Deluxe, when he originally did that album, he just looked fucking awesome. He was like really cool. And then you watch his films, which they're very subjective. Yeah, tongue-tied, a little subjective to enjoying them, because some people don't really care for the weirdness of them, while other people just praise the shit out of them, which I like. A chunk of his films. A couple of them weren't that great, though. But, other than that, he's a really good artist for his heyday. Now he just kind of washed out. Number 3, this is not a good segue, is Alice Cooper. Alice Cooper was, I guess, a rebel for his time. I mean, there's so many other groups out there, more musicians out there, that kind of did this a little bit before Alice Cooper. But as far as Halloween goes, you can feel the vibes from Alice Cooper whenever you hear his music. Like, feed my Frankenstein. That one is just a great song. But yeah, basically Alice Cooper, he just is an embodiment of it as well. I mean, sure, there's like other bands out there like Slipknot, which is also an honorable mention on this list, that scream Halloween with their costumes. But other than that, Alice Cooper to me just is pretty much Halloween as well. Next one is actually another classic, a musician who passed away, is Ozzy Osbourne. No, I'm kidding, he didn't pass away, I don't believe that. Is Michael Jackson, is the actual person who passed away. But yeah, Michael Jackson, he loved Halloween. And you could see it with Thriller, you could see it with most of his little things he's done. He loved to dress. I mean, he's weird. I mean, let's be honest here. Everyone who loved Michael Jackson, they knew he was weird, but I guess that was the charming thing about him. As far as those allegations, whatever, I don't give a shit about the allegation stuff. At the end of the day, he's dead, so I guess if he did something really bad, he's dead, so you're happy, I guess. Everyone wins. But no, it's a shame, because he was an absolutely talented dude when it comes to music and everything else related to that. His song, Thriller, is the most played, I think, on Halloween anywhere. Almost anywhere you'll hear that song. Easily. In, like, supermarkets, you'll hear it at work, you'll hear it in a car next to you, or a few cars next to you, you hear it in, like, a doctor's office or something. You'll hear it on some random video, like, parodied through 8-bit or something. No matter what, that song is the staple of Halloween, I think, for centuries to come. Just like the Monster Bash, that one is also embodied into Halloween for all time. You know, it's just like Bela Lugosi and Frankenstein and the Mummy and all that. All those, how those are symbolized into Halloween. Michael Jackson is practically the staple of Halloween as well. I mean, some people don't like him. Some people think he's weird. Whatever. I don't give a shit. I mean, a lot of people who like his music don't really give a shit, obviously. But, you know, at the end of the day, he had a fantastic catalog of music, and one of his best songs, I'm saying one of, because there's a few others I like of him, and that, of course, is Thriller. So, there you go. Now, the last person on this list is Ozzy Osbourne. That is fucking obvious, isn't it? I mean, Ozzy Osbourne is the underline of Halloween as well. I mean, his stage presence, his house, the way he dresses in general, usually in black. He just has a very dark, broody personality. I mean, you could probably tell he's a nice person, very nice person. He loves his fans and all that. One of the original singers for Black Sabbath, until all that bullshit happened between them, and I totally forgot the vague details, but whatever. But other than that, Ozzy Osbourne is the staple of Halloween as well. It's like you listen to Ozzy Osbourne during Halloween, you ain't going too far wrong. Now, he's definitely one of those great musicians, I'm saying musicians because he doesn't play a fucking instrument, he sings. But, brain fart again, whee! He basically is a artist, I would say, that had a lot of creativity behind his music. You know, it's just bark at the moon, you know, shit like that. It's just fantastic. He's just a great artist. I mean, some people don't really care for his voice too much. I like his voice when it comes to songs. You know, he works well for what he has, you know, and the cheesiness to him, it all sells it. Like he's like the father or the grandfather of, he just feels like the grandfather of metal. You know, he just feels like it. Where he's like someone you can kind of turn to and say, that's a motherfucker that I can listen to. Some people don't like him, though. Some people don't really like Ozzy too much. They prefer more of the Black Sabbath days, but whatever. I mean, I like both. I mean, there's nothing wrong with liking both of those sides of the spectrum. He still sings with them, but, you know, you get the point. You get the point. Honorable mentions, of course, was going to be Draft, Punk, and Slipknot. Those are the two also. I mean, there's so many other bands that I can probably scrounge up in my memory or look up, try to refresh my memory at least, and say at least the other two I can point out other than those two is like Buckethead and Kiss. Kiss, I wasn't quite going to call them that because they're kind of like a disco rock kind of thing back in the heyday. I mean, they did symbolize a great element of, you know, rock music. Their 80s stuff wasn't so bad. Their glam bullshit back in the day, I didn't care for the gimmick, but I thought the music was all right. I mean, I don't hate Kiss. It's just sort of I don't like listen to them every chance I get kind of thing. Like I can tolerate them, but not only so much. But yeah, that's my list. What are your lists for Halloween? Like which bands, top 5 bands you can personally say in the top of your head that you could agree with or say otherwise of the staple of Halloween? Which ones you think are the staples of Halloween? I mean, I was going to throw in Betty X, but I don't think anyone knows who the fuck she is, so I wasn't going to bother. But yeah, let me know down in the comments down below or in a video response. Take it easy.